Hello everybody and welcome to this Train Sim TV video. This is Mark. Today we're going to be taking a look at Martin Masterson's brand new route, the South Western Expressways extension to Reading, which is an extension of just trains as South Western Expressways from Pewsey onwards to Reading via the Berks and Hants, and it finally gives you that chance to drive all the way across a number of different routes from Penzance right through to Paddington via the direct line through Westbury and Newbury. So this route will include the South Western Expressways already. You will need that route as an essential requirement. As I do this video, there is actually a Christmas sale on that Just Trains, and the South Western Expressways route is included with that sale. So from now, what you can do in Train Simulator 2020, you can drive from Paddington to Reading in Western Main Lines, then you can drive in this route as far as Exeter or Taunton, and then you've got the choice of what route you drive from there. You can either drive Western Main Lines, you can drive Railways of Devon and Cornwall. There's a number of different ones, even Riviera Line or other routes that are out there at the moment. And there's a number of different routes that you can try. But basically what this does is it fills that little gap, that 40 or so miles gap from Pewsey to Reading, and it allows you to finally be able to do those journeys that you were never able to do before. Obviously some people keep asking about mergers and stuff like that, so that's natural. It's not something that we're looking at the moment, Martin's looking at the moment. It's something that we've talked about briefly, but at the moment we want to get a stable route out for Martin and get it properly out there before we start thinking about anything like that. And certainly at present there's actually no proper plans to do anything with that. Maybe in the future, who knows? It's more likely probably to be at the south end if something happens than Western Main Lines at Reading. Western Main Lines, for those that'll know it, is actually a couple of miles out of from where it should be at Reading on Google Maps, so it's like a mile further north than what it should be or something. Now that doesn't mean that it's an impossible thing to do, but it makes it a whole lot harder, and it's certainly not something that we're looking to rush into doing at the moment. So maybe it'll happen one day, but for now this is how it's going to be. So it's an extension to the South Western Expressways, and you can drive all the way on this route from Reading right through to Exeter or Bristol if you want to. But the new section that Martin Masterson has worked on is from Reading to Pewsey. So we're going to take a drive on this now. It's going to be available from Vulcan Productions' website. It'll be in the third party section, and I'm going to read through as we go along a bit about Martin and his background and his train simulator interest and stuff like that. So we're going to take a drive here from Reading, and we're going to drive as far as Pewsey on this scenario. This is one of the scenarios that's included with the route. Straight away, as I'm sure you're watching, this is a typo that I've made right there on the screen, so that'll be fixed before release. This is just before we release, when I'm doing this video. So you see there it says, "Good morning driver, please press T to open the doors, then prepare," spelt badly, "your cab for departure. You're due to call Newbury, Pewsey, Westbury and Taunton." Now we'll just do this video as far as Pewsey. The scenario itself does go right through to Taunton, where a crew change will take place. So we'll unpause the game now. This is Reading Station. It's pre-electrification because that's when South Western Expressways was based. It's also when Martin wanted to do the route. It was easier for him to do it based then. So it's just a few months before electrification took place. First things first, we're here at Reading. We're going to pick up passengers and then we're going to head off, calling at Newbury, Pewsey and Westbury and Taunton. We'll just take it as far as Pewsey. So for us that's a journey of about 40 minutes. And it's a 39.34 mile journey, as you can see there. So all that 39 miles there is new scenery to South Western Expressways. It's never been in before, and that's all original scenery created by Martin. The scenery from Pewsey onwards has had some minor changes, and the track's been smoothed out and stuff in some places on South Western Expressways, but by no means has there been any major changes, so South Western Expressways otherwise will remain largely the same. So with this we're setting off here from Reading. Something that Martin has made me aware of is that some of the platforms here at Reading are a bit out of gauge. Platform 7 is a little bit far from the tracks and stuff like that, and that is because he has had to lay the track around the existing Just Trains asset, and that's never easy, as I'm sure people who've tried to do that sort of thing will know. Platform 11, which is sort of just behind that HST on the right there, that's a bit closer to the track, and that's the one that a lot of trains use. Platform 7 is the next best one, but some of the other platforms you'll see are quite far from the track. Martin's tried his damnedest to get it right. You shouldn't find trains really clipping platforms and stuff like that. And it's the only station where this problem is apparent. So we're just waiting now for the right away from Reading. As soon as we leave Reading, we'll get to Reading West curve and we'll turn around the curve there. And we'll head off towards where the Basingstoke junction is, where the Southcote junction is, and that's where the Basingstoke line goes off. So we're departing now from Reading. Next stop Newbury is 17 miles, and it's about 18 minutes to get there. Again, apologies for the noisy keyboard, I haven't managed to get a new one just yet. It's still something that's on the list of things to do. I'm going to keep the game sound fairly low so you can hear me over the game sound on this. I'm still getting used to the microphone settings and stuff like that, so I apologise if there is a bit of a balancing issue. It seems to change every time I load this microphone up at the moment. So we're just leaving Reading Station here across all the junctions. All this track has been laid by Martin himself. It does feature super elevation. It uses the Just Trains track, which I know will be a bit of a turn off to some people. It's obviously based off a Just Trains route. We did consider using other track, but at the end of the day, we want to keep the requirements as low as we can for this route and as simple as we can. And the whole of South Western Expressways otherwise is using Just Trains track anyway. I'm sure there will probably be a patch come out, maybe an ATS or somewhere like that, which will change it to the AP track pack, which I'm sure will be fine for those that want that sort of thing. So now we're heading around the curve towards Reading West, which we'll be passing through in a second. In terms of detail and scenery, Martin's not gone too far from the track with it. It's sort of within the boundaries, but the detail that you get up close is lovely, and you'll see as you go along this route, he's done a really good job of it. It's just so much, so many of the little details and stuff that he's had put in. And this is Reading West that we're passing through now. So the stations feature custom station signs that Martin's had made by one of his developer friends. Most of the other assets are either from DTG routes or JT routes and stuff like that. Quite a lot of AI in this scenario. It's a rush hour scenario leaving Reading, so you get quite a lot going the other way. That's the Welshman HST there. We've got a yellow signal here. So this is Southcote Junction that we're just approaching now, and this is where the line to Basingstoke heads off to the left. So from here in real life you can head towards Basingstoke, and then at Basingstoke join the Southern Main Line. And we're turning now to the right towards Theale, and then onwards towards Newbury, ultimately Pewsey and Westbury. Currently running on double yellow signals. I guess we're following something along this section. I've not done the headlights. It's better. So we're on a raised up embankment here, and this is on the section towards Theale now. So Martin struck up a nice balance with assets in terms of using DTG mixed in with JT as well. So you get quite a wide variety. Most of the Scenic assets are DTG assets. So you can see down here, we've got a nice little scene here with the allotments and stuff. So scenarios wise with the route, you get 5 actual scenarios with the route at launch, I believe it is, which cover a variety of areas. Most of them are in the current modern era, though there is a 1989 freight scenario using a classic 56, which is a really good challenge with a heavy load from Westbury. Not sure if that signal changed to green just as I went past it then, but I'm not sure if I saw that right. So as you can see, Martin's got some lovely details in here. You got on the left, you got the telegraph posts, you got diggers and stuff, and all the nice assets that you'd expect to see. Trackside, you've got animals in the fields, tractors in fields. It's just tried to create a really vibrant feel, and the route was taking him about 15 months to create, and he's only actually been route developing that long as well. So I think to do this in his first 15 months of development has been really impressive, especially the level of detail that he has managed to go to, whilst keeping the route smooth at the same time. You get very limited tile loading stutter, and you get decent FPSs as well. If you're on a decent rig, I mean, I'm at 60, 70 FPS most of the time. 55 at the moment, but we are heading towards Theale at the minute, which is obviously quite a busy tile. There's all sorts of little features like these little crossings and stuff that have been added in. Fields and all manner of different little areas that you can sort of just take your little camera to and stand there and watch the trains go past. I'm going to watch the signal in case it's a red. It's actually green, so I can open up the power now. Presumably the train that was in front of us has got quite a bit further ahead of us now. So this is a section into Theale. At Theale you've got a number of industries. I'll show you the route map while we're here. So Theale, you've got a number of industries. You've got the Yeoman and some, and you've also got the Merco terminal there where the train from Robertson comes in. In terms of the route map, you've got Reading right over here, and I'm actually going to pause the game whilst I show you the route map. So the route map starts here at Reading. You got the stuff in the triangle there, the flyover, and also the slow lines that go around the back now, under the flyover, onto the curve. You've got Reading West, and then the route, obviously, as I said, it goes out towards Southcote Junction, where the Basingstoke line comes off. This area around Theale, which is where there's quite a few industries, and some good scenarios would be possible there with the stone trains that go to Merehead Quarry, Watley Quarry, and they also go eastwards as well from there, as well as I said, the Robertson trains and stuff like that. So you get quite a lot of freight there. It carries on. There's 2-track mainline most of the way. You get quite a few passing loops and stuff, and then you got Newbury over here. You got Newbury Racecourse and Newbury Station itself. Line continues then through Kintbury, Hungerford, some beautiful scenery around there. It really is nice scenery. And then you got Bedwyn down here, which is where a lot of the DMU services come from. There's services from Reading and London Paddington that use Class 166s, known as the Bedwyn Flyer, and they terminate there at Bedwyn Siding and then turn back towards London or Reading or wherever they're going to, Newbury. And the route that Martin has built ends here at Pewsey. So that is where Martin's section ends. So you got that section there is a section we've been missing in train sim for so long. So Western Main Lines would go along there, and you got Paddington about 30 miles east of Reading on the right. In terms of rest of the route of South Western Expressways that was already there, you got all this area at Bristol. You got Bristol to Exeter, Westbury right through to Taunton, and Exeter right at the bottom, which is right down there. So you can drive all the way from Reading to Exeter. There's a scenario that comes with the route you can actually drive all the way from Reading to Exeter on. That's about a 3-hour scenario. It's got some really challenging signalling and stuff in it, so try that one out if you get a chance, and that'll be a good fun drive if you like that sort of thing. So this is just coming into Theale now. Like I say, a lot of detail with roads and stuff on the right there, you can see. And I love the work that he's done on the warehouses, like placing different bits of clutter and sort of tilting and rotating them. Martin's just generally made sure that nowhere looks the same, which is something that's really hard to do. Because you could just go along placing these warehouses and stuff and everything could look the same, but if you look, each one's got lorries parked and stuff like that. Well, this is Theale Station. It's a 3-platform station, and then the line continues on down here. There's all the goods loops here, and the line continues on past those, and you got the industrial area on the right over here, and that's where the Yeoman sidings, the Merco sidings and the cement sidings are, and in there you got one of the many heavy freights on this route that would be heading for Merehead or Watley Quarry. And those are usually operated by Class 59s, although in real life Freightliner have just won that contract, I believe. And then you head off into the farmland. Going the other way, you got a Class 166 there on a service to Reading or Paddington. And we're now 10 miles from Newbury, so coming up in about 10 miles we'll be stopping at Newbury. And that's that's the most major station on this line. It's got 3 platforms there. All of the other stations between Reading and Pewsey are just 2 platforms over the field, which we've just been through, which has a 3rd platform down the back. This is Ufton Nervet, so this is where there was the awful accident in November 2004. There was a guy parked his car here on the crossing and caused a nasty derailment. I think a couple of people, was it 1 people or 2 people died, or at least in it, I can't honestly remember, but a few people were killed in that, and it was a really nasty accident at the time. And Martin's actually put in the memorial garden that's there now, which is a nice touch, with flowers and stuff planted. I thought that was a really good touch. And there's various other bits that he's done, such if you look up here where the gardens are, he's gone in every garden along the route essentially. He's actually gone and put flowers and stuff in, just to make it look so it's lived in. And that's something that he's done all the way through his 40-mile route. But note again, as I said, the scenery doesn't go too far from the track, so if you're in the cab you don't even know it ends there really, unless you start looking right through those gaps, which you don't at like speed. So it's nicely done. Not minimal, but it's just enough that you need there. Again, on the left there, more gardens has been put in. So the route has got super elevation between Reading and Pewsey. The other parts of South Western Expressways, I believe the track was laid without super elevation, so unfortunately, it obviously hasn't relayed the whole route. But on the section that you get in new here, Pewsey to Reading, you do obviously get super elevation included. Again, nice detailing there on the houses on the right. Speed limits wise, most of it's 90 mile an hour upwards. There's odd sections where it's like 70 mile an hour and stuff like that, but for the most part you'll be going 90, 100 mile an hour. I'm about to go through another station here, and this one is Midgham. You've got a level crossing here as well. Again, telegraph poles and all the detail on the right there. More crossings. As we now head away from Midgham, we're going onwards towards Newbury. Just 5 miles to go now. The whole route follows the actual Kennet and Avon Canal as well, so you got this all the way. And Martin's put some lovely details in. As you see further along, you get all sorts of locks and stuff and little scenes that he's added in. He's a route developer that I really appreciate when they do what he's done with this one, which is everywhere you look there's an opportunity for a screenshot if the lighting's right. So all the little details they've added in, tractors ploughing and stuff like that. I love the scenes here. And I'm just going to pause the game because this is one of my favourite parts of the route. I can't actually remember what the station is. Is it Fatcham, this one? Yeah, this is Fatcham. So the things that I love that he's done here at Fatcham is some of these factories again. They've all got little bits of detail. Each one's got sort of a different thing going on. And there's parts of all those lorries look there. You even got a crane in the background doing the container loading. You've got a level crossing here which has been put in. And then there's other things that's been added in. And again, you've got all these different details. Look, there's different warehouses doing different jobs. And it's just lovely to see that sort of attention to detail going into a route. And it's not too much either. It's not like he's gone and put like 70,000 warehouses over there. He's just done the amount that you need so that you feel like you're really going through a little scene. And look at the detail here, like this truck as well. And that's placed there like it is. You can tell that he's come along here and actually put a lot of time and thought into it and not just like dumped it on the ground. So we'll just watch the train as it goes through here. The station at Thatcham is just there, and the warehouse and stuff carry on alongside the line. So as I said, this is Thatcham Station. We're actually getting a yellow signal there, I believe. And that'll be because we're approaching Newbury in a couple of miles. So you got the canal over here, you got the station car park, the station itself. Loads of detail going on. Crossings and stuff like that. So I'll get back in the cab now because I'm not sure whether that was a single or a double yellow. Try and see the next signal. Next signal is single yellow. As I said, it's a rush hour scenario, so you're bound to get caught behind a few trains and stuff. Keeps you on your toes. And then the fastest limit on this line is the 110 limit that we're approaching at the moment. So if you're going straight through Newbury, you can actually plough straight through there at 110 mile an hour on the fast line. So we're now on the approach to Newbury Racecourse, which is just coming up on the left hand side in a minute. You can see the cranes that Martin's put in here. He's actually built what is a housing estate in effect, where they're building a housing estate. And it's got all the building noises and stuff added in. It's a really cool sort of feel that's in there. So you got more industrial stuff on the right. And as I said, you can hear now the building site stuff going on. You got houses and stuff built, half built, and placed around. And we're just coming up towards a red signal in a minute. And the racecourse itself is actually modelled in over here. Look, you got the racecourse, so you got a start line down there. I don't know what I'm talking about horses. I have no idea if it's a start line or what it is. But you got all the course actually goes right around there, and you got the stadium itself and stuff up this end. Meanwhile, we're just pulling down to the signal at the moment. We're just currently just east of Newbury Racecourse Station, about a quarter of a mile east. And we've just got the yellow there to take us into Newbury Racecourse Station itself. Newbury Racecourse, pretty minor station, not really that many trains that stop there. We certainly won't be stopping there with this one. We're going into Newbury itself, which is about a mile or so further on. Got an HST here going in the other direction, which we'll just watch go past. So you got the loop on the left there. That's where a lot of steam trains, when they're on rail tours, steam locos will go down the loop on the left and take water. Meanwhile, we're carrying on here on the down main. Again, lots of little details been added in. No part of the trackside's left bare. Even little things like this, look, a little ice cream stall stand sort of scene going on. Nothing's been left bare. I think we have now got the signal to actually go into Newbury Station itself, which I'm just checking. Yep, we've got the feather there. And that feather will take us into platform 1 at Newbury. And we're currently about 2 minutes early. About a minute early, sorry. Got a green now because that was approach control there as well. So it's a 40-mile-an-hour limit here over the crossovers as you go into the station. And then afterwards it's the start of the 110-mile-an-hour limit. And from here we'll be non-stop to Pewsey. This is the arrival now into Newbury station. The unit that we've been following is over there on the right, and that would have run from Reading to Newbury or from Paddington. I have overshot the marks a bit there. At least we can actually stop in the platform though, could have done worse. So we arrived into Newbury bang on time. Obviously Martin's used what assets he's got. He's not had any stations built for him or anything like that. He's used what he's got and he's used them really well. In my opinion, I think he's done a really good job there. And again, not gone too crazy with it. It's really high detail next to the track, but then as you get further away it sort of peters off, which is sensible building really. Nice little scene with engineers and stuff standing around on the track. And again, this is another area where he's put a lot of detail into gardens and things like that. So as you look up here, you got all these gardens up here that have got detail added to them. Just generally really nice attention that's gone into it. So we'll be due off Newbury in a minute. Next stop then will be Pewsey for us in about 20 minutes time. So we're roughly halfway into our journey now through to Pewsey on this new section of the route. In terms of lighting, I've got it set to the AP Enhancement pack, Weather Enhancement pack. We can't distribute the files to change that, and we don't actually, the route template is JT, so we can't really change and distribute that. So there's going to be some instructions in the manual that tell you how to do that, because obviously otherwise you'll be based off the Kuju lighting. It looks a lot worse, so I recommend, if you don't already own the AP Weather Enhancement pack, yeah, you really should look again at just to improve the lighting on Kuju routes such as this. It makes such a difference to the lighting. So if you load this route from default, you'll get Kuju lighting. If you change the route template for this route, for South Western Expressways, then you'll get AP lighting on it, and that'll be in the manual. So we've now rejoined the down main. Limit now is 110 miles an hour, and that's as fast as you'll get on this route. Doesn't stay like that for long. We soon get onto some curvier sections as we go up the hill towards Hungerford. In terms of gradients on this route, it's pretty much easy / level most of the way. You get a bit of a climb around Bedwyn and Savernake as you go up Savernake, as you go up the summit there, but otherwise it's mostly level-ish. South Western Expressways has some steeper climbs on it. On the right you got some more nice allotment scenes. And we're already really getting up to speed here. We're heading up towards 70 miles an hour already. And we've got 21 miles till we stop again at Pewsey. Book time 08:10. Currently expected to arrive at 08:09, so we're doing okay. So we're now out well into the countryside. We won't really go through any big, really big towns or anything. It's mostly villages. Hungerford's a little bit of a bigger town, obviously, as is Bedwyn and Pewsey. Gets a bit more of a tree-lined route as well as you go further in this direction for a while. So it goes through some forested areas. Lovely little features such as little ponds and stuff that again they make for really good areas for screenshots and stuff like that. One of the scenarios that you do is a perfect evening run along here, and you can really see the route at its best. I think it's best at either the morning or the evening times, as is most routes when the sun is at the right height. Another level crossing here, and a sign there for low adhesion on the track caused by leaf fall. As I said, we're coming through a forested area. Once more, you got like little details such as that tractor placed over there. Just added in to add that little bit of extra immersion. We're now about to go through Newbury, which is our first station after leaving Newbury. And this is just where the 110-minute limit will end. We'll just literally get towards 110 miles an hour, and then we'll be straight back down to 90. So this is Newbury station. Again, you got the canal over there, which goes through the entire area. The tile's still loading in at the minute. So you can see there you got the canal. More lovely detail going on as well, such as the engineer's yard, as we prepare to storm through. The limit in a second will drop down to 75 mile an hour, which is about as low as it gets. I think there's a section near Bedwyn that's about 70 miles an hour, but it's about as low as it gets. That's Hungerford up loop on the right hand side there. The down loop's actually not in use at the moment. That's on the left just in a minute, but the right loop, the up loop is over there on the right. And that's used in one of the scenarios for the stone train. And we're just coming in now to Hungerford. Again, a nice level of detail gone in here. Level crossing's been used without sounds and stuff like that, so there's no annoying sounds going on all the time. So we're now heading on towards Bedwyn. In the next state, it will be our next station that we go through, and the final one that we go through before Pewsey. Limit is going to rise up to 100 again. It'll drop after Bedwyn back down to 70 for the curve at Crofton, which is where the famous pumping station and stuff is. There's some really nice detail again there that's gone in. As you see, you got stuff like locks on the canal, little scenes with boats and stuff lined up that's been added in. Nice variation on the foliage as well. It's not just one type that you see. You have different trees and little fences around them. You got brambles and stuff. An area on the left there where there's actually been trees chopped down, which has actually been modelled. They've actually done quite a lot of tree clearance recently on this route, I believe. More little scenes here. And you got the canal right alongside the track now. This is now on the approach to Bedwyn. Again, as you note on the right, there's loads of garden detail and stuff going on here. Each garden's got something different going on in it. More nice detail at Bedwyn. This is where the reversing siding is for services that are terminating out Bedwyn. So they cross over here and go into the termination siding there, and then wait to come back out to work back towards London or Reading. In about a mile we get to Crofton pumping station, which is where the limit will drop to 70. Quite a sharp curve there, which is why the limit drops. And this is where the gradients on this section are at the steepest, 1 in 179 at the minute. We're on the climb to 78 Summit. And you can actually just see the pumping station has appeared now, just in front of us on the slightly on the right hand side. And we'll curve sharply around that in about half a mile's time. So again, there's some really nice detail going on here with the canal boats and stuff. Little bits of these little scenes that you get where there's people gathered and stuff like that. So we've got 6 miles to go to Pewsey now, which is where this Martin section of the route will end. In terms of Martin himself as a developer of the route, he's been interested in railways from a very early age. He runs a large double gauge layout in his loft. In the past 25 years he's built live steam locomotives, which is quite interesting. So in his local model engineering club, and he has them in both 5-inch gauge and 7¼ inch gauge, along with traction engines, which he actually has run up to 1/3 scale. He only learnt about Train Simulator back in June 2017, which shows just how well he's done to get this route out. to have been able to accomplish this after only finding the game, you know, sort of 2 years ago, is just incredible. And that's where we found the problem, obviously, because he holidays regularly and yearly in Devon, down in Scenic, and he travels from Paddington, and he actually wanted to do that in train sim. He was then when he actually realised, as we all have, you can't actually do this direct route until now, right through from Paddington to Penzance or Devon or wherever you want to go. Whereas now, thanks to this route, you can do. It's got the 40 miles missing from Reading to Pewsey. Been kindly helped out by a number of people along the way. In terms of what he himself says for the future, it may include adding overhead line equipment down to Newbury and other improvements to the route, so such as the South Western Expressways, generally improving that bit a bit more, bringing it up to date. And he would like to thank Simon from Railways of Devon and Cornwall, who's offered him some really good advice in the early months of the build, and also Alex55, which is Andy, who built the West Coast Main Line South route, and he's become a very good friend of Martin's and has always been willing to help and advise him, so Martin wants to pass on a special thanks to him. This route, as I said, is Martin Masterson's route. It's not Vulcan Productions route, so if you're going to say thank you to somebody, make sure you say thank you to Martin. It's not being developed at all by Vulcan Productions, we just want to promote it and help it get out there for him. And any comments you've got from Martin, please do leave them in the comments of the video. We will be checking it, and we'll pass anything that you would like to see added to the route. I'll pass it directly on to him in terms of comments and feedback. If there's anything you'd like to see changed, then yeah, just, you know, put that in the comments as well. We very much appreciate your support, as always. So we're now coming into Pewsey on the drop down. We passed 7X Summit whilst I was talking, which was up at the top end there. And this is where the route transitions back into South Western Expressways. And from here, you can carry on to Westbury, which is another 22 miles. In this scenario, you can actually go as far as Taunton, which is still another 70 miles in front of you. And Exeter about 100 miles from here. In terms of requirements and stuff, they're all listed in the manual, which will be on the Vulcan Productions website. The route releases today as I'm doing this video on the VP website. You'll be able to get your hands on it. So there we have it, we've just arrived there at Pewsey. This is where Martin's section of the route ends and it becomes South Western Expressways from the box again from here essentially. There's been a few changes that Martin's made, one of them, the main one being the smoothing of the gradients on that section to Exeter. But otherwise that's South Western Expressways from here. So you can obviously drive back to Reading and that is the bit that's been added on there. the crucial bit to fill in that little missing section that was there, to mean you can run now from Paddington through to Penzance via this route. Hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Remember, the route will be available from the Vulcan Productions website. Release information and stuff will be on there. It'll be linked in the description below. Maybe if you're just watching this video as soon as it's come out, it might have just been added like an hour or two afterwards, but it should be there for the majority that watch this video. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Appreciate your time. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. We appreciate all your time, your feedback and your views. And thanks very much for watching, guys. You can catch Tom usually on Twitch. He's usually live Wednesdays and Fridays about 8 PM for various train sim related streams. And thanks again, guys. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.